set up from the corner for the lead. Yes! Thornton for the lead back. Yes! Thornton again. No time left. St. John's has stunned Duke on its home floor.
To come in here and win this game at Duke with everything else is just, it's unbelievable.
Since that loss, it's been 146 straight non-conference home wins for Duke and 19 years of a multitude of luminaries here at Cameron. Today, the 2019 Stars take their shot to keep the streak alive. And welcome to Cameron Indoor Stadium, which has always been a house of horrors for ACC opponents. Never mind 18 straight years of losses for non-conference opponents. And what a talented team Mike Krzyzewski has. These three freshmen have dominated the headlines of college basketball. And we're here to take in today's game. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen alongside Dick Vitale. Allison Williams will join us in just a moment. To keep this streak alive, can you imagine a more talented group than Mike Krzyzewski has this year?
Well, you saw three players are going to probably go in the top 5 in the draft. Anytime you're talking about Duke now, you're talking about Zion and you're talking about RJ. Certainly Barron and Williamson. They've got between them 45 points a game, 16 rebounds a game. The best 1-2 punch in America. Duke also has, you saw Reddish. What about Trey Jones? Key player today because he's going to have to match up with the explosive dynamite Shamorie Ponds of St. John's.
St. John's had lost 4 of 5. Wednesday night, though, they went to Creighton, they went to Omaha, and boy, they came out winners in a big, big way, building confidence for today.
Well, they started the year 14-1 with a lot of cupcakes, but then they sent the message loud and clear to the nation when they blew out Marquette, an outstanding Marquette team, blew them out big time, had John McEnroe jumping in the aisles, Luke Carnesecca celebrating. It was incredible. So now what we see the real St. John's here today, and for them to win, they're going to have to make the 3-ball, and Ponds is going to have to be terrific, and he's going to have the best defender in college basketball on the perimeter in his face, and certainly Trey Jones.
And Mike Krzyzewski, talking to us before the game, said this is a team, don't let the records fool you. They are confident, and they can absolutely come in here and beat our team.
Well, they're explosive, very athletic, and people have seen them. You see them in moments, they really blow you away with their talent and their athleticism. Don't have much size inside. That could be a problem on the interior. Zion could have an unbelievable night in that 3-second area. Oh, they're zoning. Coming out zoning. They'll be playing man-to-man. They're going to say, Duke, we're going to want you to shoot the 3.
Talking to Chris Mullin before the game, he said when this Duke team shoots threes, that's a good thing for us, considering the fact they are so good from 2. Oh, strategy off to the best start as Cam Reddish gets the Blue Devils on the board.
Well, they started like that against Notre Dame. They jumped out 17-2. They shot over 50% from the 3 in that game against Mike Bray's team. They're a streaky shooting team, but they can shoot it out there. They're not a great shooter. Nice cut.
Astafa Heron throws it down. Great backdoor cut as Duke aggressive out near the 3-point line defensively, and St. John's caught them napping.
Wow, Heron did a great job cutting without the basketball. Movement's going to be really important.
Jones with another triple for Duke.
Well, who said they can't shoot the 3? We're going to see how long they stay in that zone, baby. I'll tell you, I think they came out with that mental attitude, Duke, saying, we know they're going to force us to shoot the 3. People say that's our weakness. Well, we're going to show we can do that, and they're doing it.
Ponds from the corner. Offensive rebound, Simon.
Simon, a transfer out of Arizona. He's going to be transfer university.
Rolling home a triple is Marvin Clark, and both teams off to a good start offensively.
Well, Clark could shoot the 3. Transfer. They got a lot of transfers, man. This is Marco Polo University. Are you serious?
3 for 3 as Reddish hits another.
Wow. Hey, all they're doing is saying, did you see this scout us against Notre Dame? We showed you we could shoot the 3, but yet you don't think so. So stay in that zone.
Clark tries another.
Defensive transition is very important here for St. John's. Getting back, making them play a little 5-on-5. They've come out of the zone now, playing man-to-man. There's be some mismatches on the court.
Marquise Bolden gets to the baseline and scores.
Nice little baseline drive by Marquise, little drop step. I'll be in his booth with Hubie Brown on Tuesday. He would talk about drop step moves. He was a master teaching big man moves at the 5-star camp. Double up on the ball.
Pons gives it up. Figueroa. That jump pass is deflected. And Tre Jones causing havoc in the corner. Duke all over St. John's defensively. And they get the steal.
50-50 balls. Duke comes up with it.
Barrett draws the foul.
Boy, Barrett has that driving ability. Really goes Allison to the basket.
Allison?
Guys, we love to talk about the streak for Duke here. Guys, we love to talk about the streak here for Duke and the fact that they've won 146 straight games against non-conference opponents. We love to talk about the fact that the last time a team won here that wasn't from the ACC was St. John's. But you know who doesn't care about that streak is this St. John's team. What they care about is the fact that they beat Duke last year. They were winless in the Big East, and they beat the 4th-ranked Blue Devils. Shamorie Ponds had 33 points in that game. He remembers it well and can draw confidence on that experience.
Well, St. John's is a team that does bring some confidence in here, and they'll try another deep three. That's a brick, though, thrown up by L.J. Figueroa.
Shot selection is going to be a key.
There's a takeaway by Pons.
Good steal right there. Nice pass.
And
Nice pass.
laying it in off the feed from Pons. And heading to the line with a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play is Marvin Clark.
Well, you know, Clark gets the deuce there, but it was the pass by Pons, the steal coming from the back. There's the deflection. He's at the steal, pushes the ball out in front of him. He's one heck of a player. Shamorie Ponds is for real. He had 33 last year against Duke when they upset him. You know, in that game back there, and you talked about in February of 2000, Bootsy Thornton, talk about a clutch performance. Bootsy, he had 40 points and a 1-point win. Man, that is performing. That is producing.
Zion Williamson, his first bucket.
Can't allow him to get the baseline like that. I mean, the drop step to the baseline, no one rotates over. Poor job rotating by St. John's. Allows him to get the easy bucket.
Pons gives it up to Simon. To the corner. That's Clark. He's got another three. He's off to a great start.
You know, he's their big player, and yet he's an outstanding three-point shooter. Figueroa might be their best player other than Pons. Their second best talent. Very athletic. Good job.
But Heron takes it away.
Well, great job defensively. Really denied the pass into the post. Good anticipation. They try to spread the court. They want to get you one-on-one and use their athletic ability. Seated rotation, good rotation by Duke.
Held ball. It will stay with St. John's. Duke perfect from the field so far. And St. John's going to have to keep up this hot shooting to stay with Duke.
Tell you one thing, defense makes a great play there and they get penalized because of the alternate possession. I hate that rule. I hate it. I think they got to do a better job, and you talk about St. John's defensively. When the ball goes inside to the post, the drop step to the baseline, they're going right in with no one rotating over to take that baseline away. Scouting report says they want you to go that way, but they want to really attack with help, and there's been no help.
That's Dick Vitale. I'm Bob Wischusen. Allison Williams with us here as well. St. John's looking to get a bunny off the inbounds pass, and Figueroa couldn't convert. Here's Tre Jones.
Well, they did everything right. Great execution, except they don't convert.
Second steal for Pons, looking for the home run to Figueroa. And this one he'll lay in.
Figueroa, good player, came out of the junior college ranks. Very athletic. I read a lot about him. And Zach Brazilla does an outstanding job with the post in analyzing St. John's. And I get all my chip sheets there, my notes. So let's see what he does here. He's going to try to go baseline. Drop step. Oh, nice cut without the ball.
That's the first miss for Duke, but it doesn't matter much as R.J. Barrett is there for the follow off the miss by Jones.
You know what really makes Barrett special? He can score a multitude of ways. He can score on the drive to the goal, on the offensive rebound, on the free throw line, shooting the three. He's just got that scoring ability.
Heron hits a three.
Came from Auburn, was a big-time player at Auburn. The last 4 games, he is really playing well. He's averaging 18.3 in the last 4 games, and that's what they expected when he came over from Auburn.
Barrett's lob intended for Bolden hit the rim. Well, St. John's, in their wins, they've shot 41% from 3. In their losses, 32%. If they make threes, they absolutely have a chance to win today. It's all about making shots.
You know, Bob, obviously many times that's what it's all about. But also, stats a little bit funny when you look at St. John's because of all the cupcakes earlier in the year that they pounded. They pounded so many. I think you'll see Mike Craig, who's now the athletic director, formerly here for years with Mike Krzyzewski at Duke. I think you'll see an improvement in their pre-conference schedule, which will get them mentally really ready for the conference play.
Barrett and Bolden go to the bench as that foul was on Bolden. Jack White and Delorier on for the first time for Duke, and there's a 3 for Clark. Marvin Clark already has 12, and we have yet to play 6 full minutes.
Well, Mike Krzyzewski told us before the game, he can flat out shoot the 3. He's going to spread the court for us. Nice ball movement.
Reddish has another triple.
He has found his game. He's elevated his game. Some people have him as the top 3 choice in the NBA draft. You can't teach that 6'7", long arms. He's got touch. He started off, he really struggled mentally, and I think he was a little frustrated that he didn't live up to all the billing, but he's now in a groove.
Aaron can't answer. Crashing the offensive glass, Figueroa. Simon looking to spin on Delorier. Throws it off Delorier, and it will stay with St. John's.
Nothing available right there. None. Look right here. He's got no fear, man. This guy's got no fear. Are you kidding me? He and Pons, they just have no fear at all.
Figueroa with the floater off the window.
I'm telling you, if they get a good game out of Figueroa, Pons, and certainly Heron, they can play with anybody. With anybody. They lost 4 out of 5 going to Creighton, as you said earlier. People are looking at that as a loss. They're looking at this as a loss. And then at Marquette, who's unbeaten at home, coming up next. People are saying 7 out of 8. Because Mullen didn't feel that way when I spoke to him on the phone. He said, my kids have a way of bouncing back, and they showed that against Creighton.
Reddish hammered by Clark, and coming up next on ESPN, a full day of college hoops rolls on. North Carolina, Louisville, followed by Kentucky and Florida, and then Indiana squares off with Michigan State. We cap it off at 8 Eastern with top-ranked Tennessee facing Texas A&M. You can watch all of these games all day long live on the ESPN app as well.
I'll tell you what a day. You talk about matchups. Outstanding. You talk about a team that needs a win battle. The Hoosiers. Look at a little finger roll right here. Little George Gervin style. I mean, that's usually. You don't even remember Gervin.
I remember the Iceman.
You're a
hey,
kid.
I've got a bald spot, too. I remember the Iceman.
Yours is not as big as mine, baby.
But there's one thing, as great as the shooting has been so far with both teams, that St. John's defense has been effective against, at least. Zion Williamson just sat down. He's got 1 basket. Zion hasn't been much of a factor so far. That kind of soft man-to-man defense, packing it in a little bit, has kept his physicality to a minimum so far.
Well,
there's a takeaway by Barrett.
Big-time player right there. No question. He'll be number 1 or 2 in the draft. One of the reasons with Zion is Reddish has been taking shots on the perimeter, so there's no need to really go into him.
That's what St. John's wants, though, right?
Absolutely.
Even if Reddish is making them, it's kind of pick your poison as Pons splits the double team.
Let other people beat you rather than 2 big superstars.
Exactly. Pons lost it, and Jack White's got it. St. John's have made 4 of their last 5 before Pons turns it over there.
The one thing you got to worry about with Duke, they can go on an incredible explosion. They showed so many times, as Clark Kellogg would say, spurtability. They got great spurts, boy. You got to contain that.
Trey Jones, contested. That's off the side rim.
That was a tough shot by Trey right there. Had him scare here. They thought that he was going to possibly be gone for the entire season with a shoulder injury. They got good news to get him back because he's the catalyst to their defense.
Figueroa with a step back, way short. Tapped into the front court by Reddish. And he's met with a hammer foul by Clark. And the crowd doesn't like that. That was a good hard play, though, by Marvin Clark.
He went for the ball. He went for the ball. Physical. He's a big, strong, young guy. Here he goes to the goal. Now comes, rotates over. He's going after the ball. He's going after the ball. There's no flagrant, none.
Welcome back to Cameron Indoor. It is a 2-point game here in the first half between Duke and St. John's. LJ Figueroa rocking some truly custom sneakers. Check these out. They were hand-painted by a former baseball teammate of his. They feature the Dominican Republic flag where he's from, 30-way on the side of his right shoe. He has been saving them specifically for this game. First time he's worn them all year, and he's wearing them well here. These St. Johnny's guys, they are playing well. They're playing confident to start this game against Duke.
And a moment ago, very aggressive foul by Marvin Clark. Here's another look at it on the drive by Reddish. And the officials went to the monitor and came away with a flagrant one for that foul.
You agree with that?
I thought that was just a good hard foul, although that big arm swing must have been, and I think that's what Chris Mullen is arguing with James Breeding about right now, that big arm swing must have been what they ruled excessive.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. From where we're sitting, we're way up here in the catbird sitting. I thought the kid was just going for the basketball. I really have a problem calling it flagrant. It gives 2 shots, get the basketball out of bounds. I don't buy that call one iota. I really don't. I know we want safety, we want to protect players, but the kid was making a legitimate try to block that shot. Teach kids to be aggressive. You teach kids to play attacking basketball. Let's see if that really affects them mentally.
And I think Pons was just given a violation for crowding Tre Jones and not giving him enough room to inbound the ball.
Look, Coach K, he's got the coat off. He knows he's in a fight. He said, hey, these kids, man, from out St. John's, they're going to come out and they're going to battle and battle and battle. He felt that.
And they did give Pons a violation for delay of game for crowding Tre Jones. Here's Williamson.
Watch the drop step.
Marquise Bolden lost it.
St. John's really gives up a lot of size in there, but they do a great job of denying that ball in the post.
5th Duke turnover. St. John's has 8 points off the previous 4 Duke turnovers.
Well, St. John's 7 assists and their 8 baskets are passing and sharing the ball. Key for them is ball movement, player movement, simplicity, a factor in basketball at any level. When teams don't become stationary and stand and everybody just watching the action, you got a chance to score. You get movement and you get ball movement.
Aaron penetrates. And he is met at the rim by Williamson.
Well, they're one of the great shot blocking teams in America. One of the key reasons, Zion Williamson.
Jones from the corner. Jones tracks down his own miss. Barrett tries a 3. That won't go. Offensive rebound, Zion. He can't put it home. And here comes Shamori Pons. 3 on 2 for St. John's. Heron throws it down.
They're at their best when they can run. If they can get out in transition, they're one player away from being a really super club. If they had somebody with size inside to clean the glass with their athleticism, it would be unbelievable.
Williamson hits a 3.
Just a matter of time before he becomes a really good long-range shooter. Why? He has great touch, and he wants to be one. You have to want it. You got to feel it. You got to work at it, and he works at it.
If he can knock it down from 20, 21 feet in the NBA, how would he be in any way defendable as Pons throws up a wild one off the top of the backboard?
Can't win making trying shots like that. You can't give Duke. Oh, look at him turn that speed. He's got great first step when he explodes to the basket. You're talking 285 pounds, 6'7.5". I haven't seen anything like him in my whole 40 years. Look at St. John's with the transition game. They got numbers, they leave Duke behind them, and they know how to finish. They know how to finish. And look at Zion on defensive end. Great timing. I mean, he's a tremendous shot blocker.
That foul was on Sadiq Keita. That's his first. Keita is a rim protector of sorts for St. John's, who had knee surgery back early in the season and missed 11 games in November and December. And now James Breeding's got to come in and talk to Heron and Zion Williamson and tell them to calm down with the physicality. Little arm bar here, and now that draws another discussion with the official.
You know, Katie, you mentioned could be an important player here with his size. He's a guy that had his best game against Georgetown. 6 points, 4 rebounds. He's a guy that absolutely is an important player today. His ability to maybe protect the basket, as you said. Came from South Carolina, sat out last year, had surgery November 14th, knee surgery, arthroscopic.
Tre Jones gets to the middle, comes up short.
Giving him too many opportunities. You can't give Duke those opportunities. Try to push that ball up the court.
Figueroa for 3. In and out.
Duke trying to get good spacing, 15, 17 feet apart. They'll take a chance letting him shoot that shot. They'll let him shoot that shot. Tre Jones has really contained Pons. Pons has been struggling thus far offensively in terms of scoring. He's made some nice passes. This guy loves defense. Look at this, the screen, the ball screen.
Pons through a triple team, tied up, held ball. Good hands by Zion. And Williamson creates the opposite for Duke as they've got the ball back.
And that really happened because of Tre Jones on the basketball initially. Tre Jones really did the job initially. See, watch him right here. He's going to get over the screen. Look at him right here. Look at his eyes. Look at the focus. Look at the concentration, kids. He wants to play D. He wants to play D. He needs his teammates to communicate. Let him know screen on the right, screen on the left. Get over the screen. You got to communicate defensively.
Zion Williamson, offensive foul. Perfect position for Herron, and he took the charge right in the chest.
He's got 2 now. He's got to go out of the game right now. Don't take him out of the game. He's got 2. He's going to leave him in. Oh, he's going to the bench. No. Yes, he is.
Yeah, Reddish gets up, heads to the table.
How many teams could say, take out a guy that might be the #1 draft choice and bring in a guy who's going to be probably the #3, 4, or 5 draft choice? Not bad.
Nice backdoor cut. Reverse, though, wildly from Justin Simon.
What was that shot? Simon trying to play a degree of difficulty. Thought maybe he'd get 5 points for that shot. I mean, come on, made a great cut.
Almost got the takeaway. And Chris Mullin thought that Tre Jones knocked that one out. Coming up tonight on ABC, our NBA Saturday primetime game, presented by HyperX Gaming. It's an all-California affair. The Warriors and the Lakers. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You can always watch it on the ESPN app.
Talk about one of the great shooters of all time, Mr. Curry. He's in my Mount Rushmore's book as one of the 4 best shooters in my 40 years at ESPN, along with Chris Mullin, Reggie Miller, and Steve Alford.
Reddish can't hit from the corner. Another 3-on-2 for St. John's. Simon swoops to the goal. In and out. But the follow is there as Figueroa was Johnny on the spot.
I like Figueroa, man. He plays the full court. And you know what? He can paint those shoes any color he wants. He keeps scoring like that, man. He can do what he wants. Luke on the second watching. Lou, hope you're watching, buddy. Love you. 94 years young. Amazing. The spirit he brought to St. John's basketball.
Williamson spins to Delorier and a foul call. So Javin Delorier will go to the free throw line. And when we come back, we'll have a little history lesson with Dick Vitale, who's seen a game or 2 during his time. The Mount Rushmore is coming up.
I know that guy that wrote that book. I know that guy. Hoops Weiss from New York is Chris Mullin. Look at Mullin.
Now the Golden State Warriors, they're some kind of show, but back in the day, Run TMC put on a show. We've got 2/3 of it. Here's Mitch Richmond, an assistant to Chris Mullin on the bench at St. John's. And on that Dick Vitale, Mount Rushmore of college basketball book, you've got Chris Mullin prominently placed.
Yeah, he's one of the 4 best shooters. I said Reggie Miller, and you think about Curry, and certainly Steve Alford. Anybody like a copy of the book, and all my money goes to the V Foundation. I've given them $24,000 plus, and I got another check going to them for several more thousand. You can help us. Just go and get the book. You'll like some of the stuff in there. Hoops Weiss did a great job. Just go to DickVitaleOnline.com. Help us raise money for kids battling cancer.
Simon with a shot fake, sets up Figueroa.
What's really interesting here, they're only down 3 or 4 St. John's, and Pons has not scored yet because the effect of Trey Jones. He's 0 for 2. So defensively, Jones has really contained Pons' great scoring ability.
Foul on Simon. As Duke started off the game 8 of 9 from the field. They are 1 for their last 8, but they still have the 4-point lead because they have bottled up Shamorie Ponds, the number 3 scorer in the Big East so far.
Boy, the Big East really interesting. What about the job Jay Wright's done with that Villanova team in terms of their improvement? Marquette certainly dynamite at home. They have not lost at home. Wojo, former outstanding guard here for Duke.
Step back for Barrett. Misses badly, and Cato's got the rebound.
They're going to set some nice screens up for Pons.
Pons trying to get on the board. Bullies his way to the basket and draws a foul on the floor. That'll be on Delorier.
No, he had a little team meeting after they were beaten earlier by Georgetown. Earlier, about a week or 10 days ago, they felt they should have won that game. 17,000 people, Madison Square Garden. You got to win those kind of games. When you got the people in the city out there excited about Patrick Ewing, who's done a great job with the Hoyas, I mean, it's just a matter of time before he really gets them up high. He's done a terrific job in his short tenure with the Hoyas.
Delorier commits the 5th Duke team foul.
Has a pretty good coaching staff. That coaching staff loves the Duke jersey. Mike Krzyzewski does a great job of putting guys on his staff who know what it's like to play for Duke, to be part of Duke. You think of John Shire and company there?
Dick, you were mentioning the players.
You can't play with the ball there.
Williamson!
Up and away, Allison. Up and away. Can't play with the ball like Pons did. They stripped him, man. Took that ball right away. And Zion up to the mountaintops. The elevator man. Allison, he jumps almost as high as you do.
Allison had to clear the way. St. John's calls a timeout. Everybody's got to get out of this guy's way.
Up and away, baby. Skywalker.
St. John's comes into this game after a much-needed win over Creighton following a stretch when they lost 4 of 5. So they had a players-only meeting, and Shamorie Ponds told me that they really just hashed some things out, had some very honest conversations. And they looked at clips when they were struggling and clips when they were playing well. And the biggest difference, he said, we were having fun and we were locked in. He said, when we've been out of it, when we've struggled, guys just look spaced out. We're not playing connected. They're hanging their heads, and we're not playing like a team. He said, we saw that. It was so clear that we needed to get back to being unselfish, having fun, and playing together. And they did that against Creighton.
Nice
Backdoor
cut.
cut.
The ball.
Figueroa with the reverse, and Dick, now we find out how St. John's responds after Zion Williamson brought the house down.
Well, did a great job right there. Going right there with the backdoor cut. Now they're going to rotate in the zone and see if Duke can continue hot shooting like they did earlier in the game against the zone.
Barrett from the corner. Pons has the rebound.
I'll tell you one thing. Pons has not stopped hustling in other areas. I mean, he's not scoring. He's going right to the basket. Nice pass.
Aaron, way short.
Let's see that zone now. They're trying to get in the gaps and seams in that zone. A lot of wide open spaces.
Reach-in foul called on Clark.
Clark trying to play behind him.
That's the 3rd on Clark.
Oh, wow. Can this be a little logo, Mr. Jordan style? Take a look at this. Are you kidding me? 285 pounds. I can't believe his agility and mobility. I'll tell you this. Whoever doesn't take him number 1 is not going to sleep, because they're going to sit there and worry, just like when Jordan was taking number 3. They're going to sit there and worry and say, oh, man, did we make a mistake? You can't possibly not take him number 1. I don't think it's even a close contest, and I love Barrett. But I look at his upside. He's going to be a better shooter, and, man, talk about box office bonanza. He's already known by his first name.
Aaron straightaway three. That misses again, and Bolden's got the rebound.
If they're going to win St. John's here, Shamori Pons has to put points. You can't be a 20-point scorer and come here and get blanked and have your team leave with a W.
Does he have to hunt his shot a little bit more? As Zion Williamson again goes to work in the post.
I'll tell you one thing, he's hunting his shot down there. He started off slowly, but now the ball's going into him. So strong, post up. He's got to try to get some screens. People got to help him out a little. Playing head-to-head, Tre Jones right on top of him.
The double team forces Pons to give it up.
Yeah, they're going to double him and try to get the ball out of his hands, obviously.
Aaron along two. This one's good.
Well, Aaron's got to step up. He's very capable. Did it at Auburn. He's done it the last 4 games, over 18 a game. Tell you one thing, St. John's is battling. They are battling. You know, you're playing, I think, a team that has the best starting 5 in basketball when you look at Duke. I really believe that.
Bolden an offensive rebound. And that'll be goaltending. It fell through nonetheless. So Marquise Bolden working the offensive glass. Well, it's Duke back up by 6.
I'll tell you one thing. The next 4:28 is big in this game. It's big in this game. You can't allow Duke to have that spurt to go up 12-14 at halftime and get all that confidence. You got to make shots here, and you got to take quality shots. And how do you get quality shots? You move without the ball, you spread the court, you get good spacing. See, he's having the ball too much in front of him. He's doing it against the wrong kind of guy, man. Tre Jones loves that.
Pons struggled just to get it across the timeline, and that forces the Red Storm into a timeout as he got caught along the sideline with Figueroa.
You know, assists can be misleading. I mean, Tre Jones, I give him credit. He's number 2 in terms of assists in the nation. But you got guys to give the ball up to. Oh, look at this right here. Look at this. He's posing. How pretty is that? I used to jump like that, Robert.
Stood the early storm. Can they do it? Bob and Dickie B, back to you. See you at the half.
Well, Matt, Shamori Pons still hasn't scored, and yet Duke only has a 6-point lead. Pons looking for his first basket here. The follow on time for Sadiq Keita.
I tell you, that's big by Keita with that offensive rebound. He's got a little bounce to his step down. He's got to provide a little help. There's a lot of wide open area by the ACC side in that 3-second area. You got to slide somebody right in that 3-second area.
Zion Williamson saves it. He may have stepped on the sideline, though.
Turned it over. He turned it over. Look at him go to the offensive boards right here. Keita, there he is. Go to the goal. Good off. Nobody blocked out. Nobody blocks out anymore.
Now, that shot for Pons was his first attempt in over 6 minutes. So he's not even getting shots up. Although here with a hesitation dribble.
Well,
he's looking to take it down the middle. Now he's got Barrett caught on a switch.
It's a switch right up there because they utilized a high post screen, and he used it really well. But then Barrett stepped in front of him and cut off his drive.
Figueroa with a size advantage up and over Tre Jones.
I tell you one thing, I like Figueroa. It's unbelievable. Here you got Pons, a 20-point scorer, and he's got Zimbo. He's got Zimbo, and they're only down a deuce. That's a positive if you're a Red Storm fan.
And now Barrett trying to bust the zone, can't do it. Tapped out by Bolden into the student section as St. John's went back to the zone, and Barrett settled for a 3.
Smart move by Chris Mullin. Going back to the zone. Let them try to beat you from the perimeter. That's not their strong suit. Even though they started off the game really well, I give them a lot of credit. A lot of coaches would not have gone back.
Tre Jones takes it away from Pons. Cruises in and lays it in.
What a factor he has been in this game. What a factor. Not going to see much in the scorebook, but I'll tell you one thing. You ask Mr. Pons what's it's like having this kid in your face. There's the screen for him up on top. That's a great drive. That's a great drive, but you got to convert that. You used the screen well, but you got to convert it.
Crossover by Williams.
Are you kidding me? That's a runaway freight train. Are you serious? He's 6'7", 285. That's a runaway freight train. What an express. He's got such good footwork, speed for that weight. Incredible. You can't teach that.
11 points for Zion here in the first half. He's been in double figures every single game so far this season, and he will give us our drive time genius moment. Here is the freight train coming right at you.
Look at a little shake and bake. He's got a little New York City, the record league, a little shake and bake. 5 straight games
for Williamson where he's had at least 20. Aaron with a step back. That's no good.
Here we go. These next 2 minutes could be big. Got to come up with some stops. He's going to go to the baseline. And back out. Should drop step to the baseline. Was wide open.
Barrett in the lane, draws the foul.
Tell you one thing, they do a great job in terms of going to the free throw line, cutting the basket. Look at the concentration of Jones. He's going to go over. He was behind the screen, and he's going to rotate back up, and there's the anticipation. He's unbelievable. Stealing the basketball, assists, number 2 in the nation in terms of assist to turnover ratio at about 6 per game. I know sometimes assists can be certainly misleading. You say, oh, my guy's a great point guard. Well, he's got great people to pass the ball to, and they score. I mean, sometimes you can put me on the floor with some guys who get the ball and have some good assists.
Williamson on the offensive glass.
You wanted to know, this guy, his motor is up high. He's got the engine turned up right now after a slow start. Zion. They will love in New York City. You think the Knicks are hoping and praying that maybe he comes their way?
Figueroa for 3. The putback for Queta.
Queta doing a nice job on the glass inside the second offensive rebound.
And with that trade that the Knicks made, they are closing, Knicks fans at least, are closing their eyes and having dreams of Zion Williamson, KD, Kyrie Irving, as Williamson goes down hard, fouled here.
To dream the impossible dream.
Don't say
to
impossible.
Dream the impossible dream. Come on. I'm talking Durant, Kyrie. Look at that motor by this kid. Are you kidding? Unbelievable. Look at the execution. He's got eyes on the ball. Always right there. Look at him. Standing at the ball. He's got to stand on his right hand. He knows he wants to go to that right there. Even though he's a lefty player. A strong driver to that right side.
Let Knick fans have their dream.
Jacob,
would you please?
I'll tell you
were
what.
coaching high school basketball the last time they won a championship. Can we at least maybe believe something special is possible?
Well, anything's better than what they're putting on the floor. People are playing major league prices in New York City and getting G League basketball, and that's a humiliation and embarrassment to a proud organization. I'm telling you, they got to be better than that. And that trade, I really comes down to one word: if when they give Porzingis, if they sign the great players, fine. Look at these worst records here.
That's going to be the Zion lottery right there.
If this, if that, if they sign Durant, if they sign Irving, if those ifs better become a reality, or the New York City fans are going to be in an uproar.
Well, the only reason you trade Porzingis is to turn that if into a reality. It's kind of a pass-fail deal for the Knicks. They get those guys, they pass. If they don't, they have failed.
Nice drive. What a great
to the goal.
I really like that kid. He understands how to play, man. He's got some good ability.
And here's that 4-minute stretch wrapping up in the final minute of that 4-minute stretch. And St. John's still only down by 6.
And also their star still has zilch, right? No time.
Zion Williamson with a reverse.
Nobody to play with him. Nobody to stay with him. The only chance St. John's has to win this game is Pons got to become part of the formula in the second half and get to his scoring. Oh, bad pass.
With a steal.
Another flush. It's the Zion show. It's the Zion show. You New York City fans, watch. Go to bed at night. Pray and pray and pray that he would wear a New York Knicks uniform.
8
Special
seconds to go in the half.
Oh, is he special?
Trying to work his way around Jones. Fouled by Jones. Duke has fouls to give, though. That is only...
He can't get a clear path to the goal with the defensive suffocation by Jones.
That was the foul to give. That's team foul number 6, so just under 5 seconds to go in the half.
Get a
St.
score
John's
here.
has to throw it in from the sideline.
Get it into single digits, man. It's just a psychological edge.
Pons gets in the middle, floats one up, still can't score a basket before the end of the first half.
Well, that's really the difference maker here. Pons not able to score. Trey Jones and Zion coming on strong in the last 10 minutes.
A 10-point lead for Duke at halftime. They close the first half, making 8 of their last 10. It's high percentage when that guy goes to the goal as it's time for the halftime report. Matt Dallin and the Fonz in the studio. Duke by 10 at halftime. Matt?
Bob, thank you.
Welcome back to the Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Just about set for the start of the second half here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale, and Allison Williams. 17 points in the final closing moments of the first half, and 19 total in the first half for Zion Williamson.
Well, if I had to really analyze that first half, he scores 10 points in a row, 17 of the last 22. On the other side, Pons, a 20-point scorer, is 0 for 5. That was the effect of Tre Jones defensively. And he couldn't be able to, he's got to get points for them. If they're going to get back and win this game, Pons has to be Pons. But I'm telling you, talk about Zion, he's got everything going for him. He's taking the ball to the goal. He's an express like you can't believe. Slam, jam, bam, and he's just a flat-out superstar, and they're going to be drooling. Mike Vaccaro here at the New York Post. Howie Kasoy's here at the New York Post, and they're like sardines. I read their tweet downstairs. But you know, and Mike's here. He's not here just to see St. John's. He's here because he's been writing column after column how Zion belongs in New York City.
Well, if I would have told you that Zion Williamson would have 19 at the half, that Duke would shoot 59% in the first half, and Shamorie Pons would be scoreless as Pons goes backdoor, still looking for his first basket, and he apparently has drawn a foul on Tre Jones. It's really amazing, Dick, to think that St. John's is only down by 10.
It's amazing, but let me say this. I think, you know, a little coaching strategy here. I mean, I'm not here trying to second-guess anyone, but if I'm Chris Mullin, maybe I take away the pressure of him getting the ball and handling it as exclusively as he is, rotate it over to someone like Simon, maybe put him ball in his hands, get him more on the wing, so when he catches the ball, he's only 20, 25 feet away from the goal, and try to beat Jones in a one-on-one situation. I think right now he's been pounding the ball to the deck too much, and it takes away ball movement and player movement.
Sometimes a scorer just needs to get to the free throw line and see the ball go through the basket. Let's see if that drive by Shamorie Pons gets him started, as Williamson is met by Clark.
Nice defensive play by Clark. Got a little foul trouble early.
Mustafa Heron out of control.
Totally out of control. You can't beat a club with the quality of Duke taking bad shots. The key is, if you want a good shooting percentage, you have to take money shots. A little more patience. That wide area by the ACC and the center behind the foul line is wide open. Duke should slide someone right to the ACC side, inside.
Simon with a pull-up. That's in and out.
Other people got to help a little bit. Pod's not scoring. Guys like Simon's got to step up. Figueroa.
Barrett double team and still scores.
He can use either hand, right and left. He has such a variety of ways, man. He's like the Baskin-Robbins guy, man. They got all kinds of varieties. Get me that butter pecan.
I don't need any of that. Clark for three. Good hands by Pons, but it's out of bounds off Shamorie. And let's head down to Allison.
Bob, Duke started to get some separation in this game because they were able to have better ball screen defense and hit the boards, according to associate head coach Jon Scheyer. He said really, though, the tone has been set by Tre Jones and his defense, holding Shamorie Pons scoreless in that first half, and 5 turnovers committed by the point guard. Chris Mullin told me as well at the half that that is what really hurt them, is the live ball turnovers, because, of course, they've led to those Zion Williamson dunks. That's worth just 2 guys, but it gets this place going, which makes it worth a whole lot more.
And Barrett hits another jumper.
He's got good medium range jumper. He scores, what we said, multitude of ways. He can score off the dribble. He can score with the drive. He can score on the free throw line, score in transition.
Good hands by Reddish. And a tie up in the lane. If it's a held ball, it will belong to Duke, and it looks like that's the call.
You know, great play by Reddish there because of his length. His length made that happen, stepping in the passing lane. Can't teach that, man. You got to have it. That's what he has as a perimeter player, and why his stock is so high. Now watch the length. Now watch this right here. He's got great length. Look at that. Deflection. Turned his back to the ball. A lot of guys love to see you open up to the ball. That was the philosophy of Bob Knight when he coached. Open up to the ball. So it's ball you man, a theory promoted by Alabama, one of the former great minds of basketball from out of New Jersey. Coach of St. Mary's Elizabeth, Coach Hubie Brown.
Bolden draws the foul. If that's on Clark, That's his 4th, I believe.
Wow.
And that's a problem for St. John. Speaking of length, there's the Admiral.
He's such a great guy. He's on the board of directors of the V Foundation. We have Avery Johnson we're going to be honoring this year, along with Dabo Sweeney and Chris Fowler. We're going to give special awards to Holly Rowe and to Lee Corso.
And that was his son Justin on the Duke bench, as he is a reserve player for Mike Krzyzewski. So we've seen David Robinson at a couple of games here this year.
Well, he came here, his son is a preferred walk-on. He had another son that played football at Notre Dame. Just a quality guy. He and his wife, they just are great people, great role models. David the Admiral. He was no McDonald's All-American, but I was the speaker the night he was honored with the Player of the Year award. Oh, look at that steal. Oh, look at this. Zion, what a show he's putting on. What a show. Mike McCarron, I could read his column tomorrow's paper. New York, New York, we need Zion. We need Zion. The Knicks need a lot.
Zion would be a good place to start. And David Robinson.
David loves it. He's going to stand a little standing ovation. I gave him, I've only done 2 standing ovations in my life. One was Collison when he had an incredible game for Kansas. It was unbelievable to watch, Mom. And I gave one, David at Rupp Arena, scored about 45, had about, I don't know how many rebounds, block shots before fouling out. I stood up and I clapped like you couldn't believe, because it was special to watch it.
Duke starting to pull away, up by 15. Marvin Clark's three-point shooting early in the game was the only thing that was keeping St. John's in it. Marquise Bolden extends the lead with the alley-oop finish, and Chris Mullin wants another timeout.
Taking advantage around the basket. That's one negative area for St. John's. I mean, this club here, you give them momentum, and that momentum was created at the end of the half by the Zion Express.
The Crazies have a lot of reason to be crazy today.
Back here at Duke, just a few days removed from what would have been Jackie Robinson's 100th birthday, of course, in the month of February, which is Black History Month. So we wanted to take a moment to recognize the player that broke the color barrier here at Duke. It was C.B. Claiborne, and he came here in 1965, just 2 years after the school desegregated. It was the first year that black players came to play in the ACC. And at the time, though, there was no scholarships available for African Americans. So Duke had to find a way to get him money, and they did it through a grant and aid program. At first, he was a bit offended, and he didn't know whether or not to accept that since he wasn't getting a true scholarship. But his high school coach, Hank Allen, told him this, and I love it. He said, look, this is a rare opportunity. You have the chance to decide if you want to be able to take advantage of this opportunity that will open a lot of doors later. And it certainly did. C.B. Claiborne, the player that broke the color barrier here at Duke.
Interesting, very interesting story. Hey, right there, too much dribbling. I mean, Bob, we're watching the St. John's kids pounding it. Their name is not James Harden. I mean, they don't have that kind of skill and ability, and Duke's just stripping them, and that's why the lead is now where it is. I mean, they got to get more ball movement and move the ball and share the ball. They got to go, after this game, they play Marquette up at Marquette, and Marquette at home is unreal. Kid Howard is terrific, Marcus Howard. And then be a payback game because St. John's embarrassed. I mean, they had John McEnroe dancing in the aisles. Luke Honeyseca was celebrating his birthday around that time, 94. He was at the game. It was a great, great day for St. John's.
That foul, by the way, on Cato was his 4th. Zion Williamson spikes it out of bounds.
There's again that shot blocking ability. I can't wait to sit here with UB Brown and hear UB dissect and analyze the game of Zion. UB, one of the great minds in the history of basketball, who's affected many coaches with his teaching ability, including yours truly. I used to steal for UB when I used to hear him give lectures. I'd write all his notes down. He didn't know that.
Pons still looking for his first basket.
Wow, what an afternoon. His stock could have really went up high. When you're 6 feet, man, you got to be special to attract the NBA people.
Reddish with another triple, and now Duke is pouring it on.
Too many weapons, man. Cameron Crazies love it. He doesn't love it. Those Cameron Crazies going wild there. Mullen and Richmond should dress up.
Barrett
Look at this.
Maybe a little too much dribbling there, but it ends up with a Reddish. Gets his own miss.
I was teasing Chris and Mitch before the game. I said, Chris, you and Mitch ought to dress up. He said, man, we wish we could dress up. I'll tell you, unbelievable. Look at his penetration. Nice penetration, and he finds the open man, and the open man for Duke know what to do.
These are always wearing some interesting stuff, but today they're all rocking these blue birthday hats, and it's not for Coach Krzyzewski, whose birthday is in about 10 days. It's for that baby right there. That's Cameron, and this doll has supposedly been around for some 30 years, coming to all of the Duke games. There's a student every year that is in charge of baby Cameron. She's kind of the unofficial mom. That's Alexa with her, and Alexa decided that we needed a birthday to celebrate Cameron, and so it is today. From henceforth, this will be Cameron's birthday.
To celebrate here, those Cameron crazies go wild in the crowd. I'll tell you one thing, Alice, it's amazing. They told me today, I cannot believe this, but they said it's true. The average SAT score of the Cameron crazies is 1540.
Come on.
I thought 1600 is perfect. They told me that's the average to get into Duke.
No wonder they're crazy. They have a lot of stress to release.
Unbelievable.
With that amount of studying.
I gotta find out if that's true. Somebody let me know if that's true. Just go to Dickie V on Twitter and let me know. 1540. I took the test 3 times and I didn't get 1540. 500, 500, and 540. Wow. Look at this. This place is like the Fenway Park of basketball. And I just like Fenway, and I would say Allen Fieldhouse up there in Kansas.
No doubt.
That's like Wrigley Field. That's like Wrigley Field. Boy, they're not too happy campers down there when you're talking about Kansas. To find out the kid Silvio De Souza is ineligible this year and next year. My complaint is the NCAA is very simple. Why does it take so darn long to make decisions? Another turnover, dribble.
Look out!
Oh, why not? Just throw it up on top and let the big guy go get it. Let the big guy with a little monster mash. Yeah, the NCAA takes forever. They took so long to make a decision on a kid's life, and I think that's a joke. It's absurd the way the NCAA sometimes handles these rulings.
Hahn still without a field goal, but he will go back to the line, and it must be fun to be able to do this.
Yeah, it's fun. If you can play up in a stratosphere like him, he plays in another orbit. Look how high he gets. Look at that bounce up the floor. You know, people say, well, maybe like Kemp, when Kemp played, maybe like name I hear now, McGinnis, maybe like Karl Malone. Those guys did not have the bounce off the floor. They had the physical body, but they didn't elevate and hit that floor and go up like a Spalding ball. No. You don't remember Spalding balls? Little pink ball?
Yeah.
I used to play.
Do you think I was born in 1989? I've been around for a while.
Everybody looks so young.
Yes, I played with a pink ball when I was a child. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had rotary telephones and everything. Well, Williamson at 280, 285 pounds. There he goes again. And I'm telling you, we have called games where I think he legitimately has to measure his jump. If he jumped with his full strength and athleticism, he would hit his head on the rim.
Yeah.
But he has to be careful to not over jump so that way his head doesn't make contact with the rim. That's how athletic he is.
He's putting a few logos out there. I'm going to tell you this. He would be something in New York City. Wow.
Bolden plus the 5. And right now they're not happy back in New York City watching this performance by St. John's as they are getting run over from the end of the first half and the first 5.5 minutes of the second half by Duke.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, that game of Marquette really becomes big to them as well. Because when you talk about Bubble City, I mean, teams like Seton Hall and certainly St. John's now with all the losses, this guy, can he coach or what? Unbelievable. He's what, to me, when you factor in what he did, not only as a collegiate coach, but what he did with the Olympics in 3 times, so special. Brought back pride and passion to wearing that uniform, and just a winner. He always gives us a clinic before the game in the philosophy and the theory of the game. Look at that logo down. Oh, wow. Oh. Look at this guy. Are you kidding me where he is? You know, Barkley was a great riser, but not like that. Not like that. To me, Charles is probably the closest in terms of analysis of two guys.
Shamorie Ponds with a chance for a three-point play.
Wow.
And finally, he is able to convert a field goal.
We have not seen the real Shamorie here. I mean, there's no question we have not. He's had some monster games for St. John's throughout his career. New York City, went to Thomas Jefferson High School. Very dear to my heart, Thomas Jefferson. I'll tell you why. We recruited while I was at Rutgers with Dick Lloyd, a special player by the name of Philip Sellers. Philip Sellers became as good as it was. New York City Player of the Year, led Rutgers to the Final Four, unbeaten season before they got beat down here in 1976. I'll tell you, he was one great college player. Also, I believe Sidney Green is from Thomas Jefferson, and a great football player, John Brockenden, played at Ohio State. I believe he's from Thomas Jefferson. They had some great athletes at TJ over in Brooklyn.
Speaking of great athletes, 7 to shoot. Williamson muscles his way into the lane and draws a reach-in foul.
He's not afraid to attack if he sees a seam. He attacks that seam, man. He goes after it.
Tonight, it's a Super Saturday of Top-Ranked Boxing with 3 world title fights highlighted by the WBO featherweight title on ESPN and ESPN Deportes at 10 Eastern. Then at midnight on ESPN Plus in English and Spanish, Alvarez Kovalev 2 for the WBO light heavyweight belt. You can stream the undercards on ESPN Plus starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Letting them score too easily now, backing off. They were really right in this game until the last 2 minutes of the first half. And then it was the Zion show. He scored the last 10 points in a row.
Zion gets the deflection in the lane, but Ponds takes it right back. Goes at Williamson and lays it in.
He's going to points up now, and it'll be in the book, double figures and all eventually, but it's almost like meaningless, because right now this game is really Duke all the way. You know, Chris Mullin played for a great team. When he played at St. John's, man, they went to the Final Four in '85. Luke Honeyseck's team, then Mullin, one of my favorite point guards who understood how to play. Mark Jackson does a great job with ESPN. Willie Glass, an explosive wing player. Shelton Jones, Mike Moses, another handler. Ron Rowan. That was one. Wennington, don't forget about Wennington. That was a great team. Unfortunately, in the conference then, was Patrick Ewing at Georgetown.
Well, the biggest basketball games in New York City, as Figueroa misses everything back in those days, was the Big East tournament.
Yeah, well, and don't forget Villanova, who won it all in '85 with that shocking performance at Lexington, Kentucky by Rollie Massimino in his game.
Figueroa, little Euro crossover, comes up way short, and Trey Jones comes the other way.
Trey Jones, what a difference maker he's been in this game.
Hits the
What a
post.
difference maker. He's so solid. If he played at another school and had a lot more notoriety, you know, when you're playing in the shadows of guys like Williamson and Barrett, you're not going to get the kind of PR, but he's so valuable.
Well, look at Shamorie Ponds' stat line in this game, and you see how valuable he is as that 3 goes down for Brian Trimble.
Especially in the first half. Second half now, stats become a little diluted. You know, Trimble came up big in their last game against Creighton. It's a
Barrett
big
on the
lead.
curl, and Trimble gets a hand in, and then tempers start to flare a little bit.
Well, it's frustration. They're embarrassed, humiliated, came here with purpose, came here feeling good after the Creighton win, played so competitive in that first half until the last few seconds, and now they can see that scoreboard, plus 24. Wow, I do. Look at his logo. Look at how high he is. Are you kidding? How do you take a body 285 pounds, Robert, that high? Tell me, Robert, how do you do it?
I can't. With one of the members of that crossover group, Dick Vitale's going to join Hubie Brown to talk a little BC Duke in a couple of days. The process a result of changing from one activity or style to another defines the crossover. Of course, in basketball, we all know what a true crossover is. It'll be fun to listen to you guys break it down when Boston College takes on Duke, and some of the great crossover dribblers of all time. Did anybody have a better crossover than Allen Iverson?
I'll tell you one thing, Allen Iverson was a blur with the ball. And what about Pearl? He was special. Wade. I mean, Hardaway was dynamic with a Kyrie right now. I mean, they're so outstanding. Everybody said it all started down there in the Rucker by a guy who I did not see, Pee Wee Kirkland. They said he was special with it.
Way short for Clark. How did you not see it?
I didn't see that one, I can tell you that, but I can't wait to sit next to Hubie That's going to be a lot of fun because I have such respect for his knowledge. The man absolutely eats, sleeps, and drinks basketball and has taught all over the world impacting coaches. Look at diving on the floor.
Is Williamson.
That's a great team player. Diving on the floor, up 25. Up 25.
A mad scramble for it. That's won eventually by Duke. James Breeding jumps in and just wants to calm everything down. It'll be a held ball, I believe, that will give it to Duke. And Mike Krzyzewski disagrees.
You know, I saw a comment, watch this here, diving. I mean, are you kidding me? That's a tremendous talent. He don't care. It's about winning. He wants the 50-50 ball. I'm going to go get it. But tenacity. Well, let me say this, Bob. I showed you. There was a reply by an individual who said, you know, we got to wait to see how he does with the NBA guys. They're big, they're strong.
Meaning Zion Williamson.
It's more than just dunking. Well, let me tell you this. He's more than just dunking. He handles the ball well. He's going to be a much better shooter. He attacks you off the bounce. But let me tell you, there aren't many guys in the NBA that bounce off the floor like he does. I can tell you that. So being critical, guys looking for faults, look for them all you want. This kid is special.
Yeah, I agree. I'll be the first to say that when you go from college basketball to the NBA, you are going from playing against kids to playing against grown men, and that you're going to get that level of athleticism that may be stunted a little bit because the guys in the NBA are so big and so strong. If you're watching Zion Williamson and you don't see the athleticism and the strength that he has and think that he is not, at least from that standpoint, going to step right into the NBA and be a dominant player, then to me, you don't know what you're looking at, and you just don't see the difference between him and everyone else, because he is an absolute freight train. And if he could shoot the three, then he becomes unguardable. How would you ever defend him? Because you have to go up and try and get into him and guard him from 20 feet away from the basket. And he's just going to go around you.
And also, think about this. Surrounding him are going to be NBA players who can play the game as well. And the spacing on the court is going to open up driving ability from even more so that he faces on a college level, where he can give a lot of help. Not going to give a lot of that help in the NBA. I'm going to tell you, anybody has doubts that he can play, I question that, really.
Well, he might have an adjustment to make from a skill standpoint.
Absolutely.
As Pons throws one up, he's going to have to learn how to shoot the ball more effectively. He's going to have to learn how to play without the ball, all of those things.
Absolutely.
But if you're looking at Zion Williamson and you're saying, you know what, that level of strength and athleticism might look good in college, but boy, wait till he gets to the NBA to play against guys that are really big and strong. He's 285 pounds and has to take something off of his jump so his head doesn't hit the rim.
His agility.
He will athletically be able to handle the NBA.
Allison spoke to Chris Mullin. Allison, what did Chris Mullin, as a former star player in the NBA, what did he say about Zion?
Dick, and also he's got those 13 years of NBA front office experience with Golden State and Sacramento. He told us that Zion is as different and unique athletically as he has ever seen. He compared him a little bit. You guys mentioned Charles Barkley, also some Sean Kemp. But the thing that Mullin loves the most about Williamson is the way he plays. He said he still has that passion, that joy. He goes, when you're that good of a player and you've been under a microscope and you've been watched since a young age, it can wear on you. It doesn't with him. He said you can just see the love he has for the game, the love he has for his teammates. That's what he liked the most about the way he plays.
Tell you what, I say amen to all those statements, because really, he's all about playing for his team. I loved when he came out when Scottie Pippen said if he were in his shoes, he would drop out of school. He came out and said, "You kidding me? I'm going to let my teammates down, my coaches? There's no way I'm leaving. I love this. I love what I'm doing here." I mean, he's unselfish, just a terrific young man. His parents have done a great job with him.
O'Connell whips one cross court. Williamson tries to save it and does to Reddish.
Got a little sloppy right there. Oh, nice ball movement.
Williamson gives it up. Extra pass from O'Connell to Reddish. Williamson with an offensive rebound.
Look at those hands. Look at those hands. Oh, wow. Great hands, man. He doesn't just rebound in this area. He goes laterally and gets the ball as well. The best. I said it early and I'll say it again. If you don't draft him #1, you are not going to sleep at night. you're going to be worried about he'll embarrass whoever doesn't pick him number 1. To me, he's Luck City as the first player in the draft. There's nobody in the world I would take over him. No one. I'm going to be his PR agent. He'll make a lot of money. He can be 10%, be a PR. I'll do pretty good, man.
Well, you obviously are hurting for cash, so yeah, I would say you could use the coin. Out of bounds, this Reddish can't find a hookup with O'Connell.
Well, we got blowout city here, my friends. You're seeing why Duke recessed today. When I was on the game day show, those guys do a fantastic job. He asked the whole panel, actually, what team do they think is their choice to go to a Final Four? Well, I said there's Super 7 teams out there. You got to factor in Kentucky as well. Now, they're right up there with those other 6 when you talk about Michigan, Michigan State, and Duke, and certainly you got teams like Virginia. But the bottom line, Gonzaga, the bottom line is I say Tennessee. I like Tennessee because of their experience. They got inside guys that can play with Zion and them, and Grant Williams, Schofield, and I love their experience, a winner's mentality.
Well, that's a winner's mentality right there. Big day for Zion Williamson.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shot.
Hey, LaFonso, you played in the NBA. You played for my great guy, Digger, who deserves some consideration, a Hall of Fame, man, what he did with his games against UCLA, etc. But let me just say this. LaFonso, I want to hear him talk and break down Zion's game for the next level because he knows. He played in that league.
Early on, Dickie V, when I got a chance to see him play in the non-conference season, and we know he's talented, we know how athletic he is, but what I was amazed by is there was a loose ball at half court. Who was the first person on the floor giving up his body? It was Zion Williamson. So from an athletic standpoint and IQ, I've been so impressed with his ability to handle the rock, too. And once he gets that consistent three-point shot, he will be absolutely unguardable.
I agree with you totally. You know, people say, well, turn down the hype machine. How could you turn it down when you're watching here? Are you watching something? You're seeing it in your own eyes. I got one eye and I can see it. My partner got 2. UB Brown's going to see it. I mean, how do you keep the hype? He's earned that hype because he goes out and performs. I mean, just talk to his coaches, and he's coached a lot of great players. Said he's an incredible young man to coach. It's not about hype. It's fact. F-A-C-T. It's not hype. It's fact. The kid is for real.
And here are you earlier saying you wouldn't have gotten 1540 on the SAT.
Oh, man,
you're spelling words. You're coming up with math.
1540, are you kidding me?
Well, if there was a 1600 that you could get on the SAT, Zion Williamson would probably get one just about every game because he has now gone over 20 points.
Wow.
6 consecutive games, 14 times out of 21 games so far this season, even flashed the three-point ability earlier.
Right there, what a pass that was. Terrific pass.
And now he's up to 29 points today.
You know, he plays within the framework of the team. He isn't that selfish. He defends. He bounces on the floor.
Figueroa with the floater.
Now can St. John's get off the canvas and come back strong against Marquette? That's going to be a big game for them. I mean, they're not thinking NIT. They're thinking NCAA. And to do it, they need some wins.
R.J. Barrett, pretty good in his own right. Knocks one down.
Super. He'll go probably further than number 2 or 3. I will tell you this. The one thing St. John's is going for them, they're in a conference where there's a lot of quality teams. So they're going to get a chance to be able to get good wins. Wins that could really help them on their resume. A lot of teams don't have that when you're not in the elite conferences. Right, talking about a team that's gone south big time coming up later. They need a win so badly. Archie Miller in Indiana. They lost 7 in a row. 7 and been blown out. There was so much optimism when they got Romeo Langford. What is happening to the Hoosiers?
Good hustle by Clark. But then Clark cutting to the basket. And Justin Simon threw it behind him. Now, there was a thought with St. John's as well, that early on in the season when they got off to a great start, beat teams like Cal and VCU and Brooklyn to begin the season, but didn't have any of kind of those household name marquee quadrant 1, so to speak, wins, that they got a little fat and happy that they read their own press clippings and that once they hit conference play, and now it's taken up a notch because they're playing against Big East teams, they were brought back to earth a little bit. They had lost 4 of 5 before they went to Creighton and got a win. You wonder if this is a wake-up call and they go into that last stretch of the final 10 games of conference play and become the team that we thought they were when they were winning games back in November and December.
Well, they were 14-1 out of the game, but if you follow like I did, I try to stay up on teams in their various areas of the country, and if you can follow certainly St. John's, you read the New York Post, and I read a little bit about them, Zach Pizzilla, Howie Kasoy and company, and I will tell you this, there was no doubt that they had really feasted on a lot of really below-average teams. Hey, talking about teams, what about giving a tip of the hat to Joe Mahalik and the kids at Hofstra? 16 in a row. Let's go, Hofstra. That's when Jay Wright was coaching, man. Joe Mahalik's done a great job with them. Anytime you win 16 in a row, I don't care who you're playing, that is special.
Longest win streak, I think, right now going in college basketball.
Tennessee's right up there. I think Tennessee has, what, 15 in a row? Purdue's been real hot lately, and so is Villanova. Kentucky's been really hot.
And Iowa got a surprisingly lopsided win against Michigan last night.
Grant McCaffrey's done a heck of a job. They were not projected to be in the upper echelon of the Big Ten. They won easily last night over a really quality Michigan team. I gave him a tip of my hat last night, man. Hey, what about the Super Bowl? Since we got Blowout City here, what about the Super Bowl? Who do you like, Robert? I know you're a football guy. You do the Jets games for years. Great job with the Jets.
Shamari Pons, boy, it's been that kind of day for him. The only thing a Jet fan can hope is that Tom Brady's got that kind of day in front of him tomorrow, but that doesn't happen too often as Barrett puts it through. And a timeout will be called.
That opportunity by Pons down there really defined the day and the afternoon that it's been for him. I mean, it's been a day. Hey, I like Tom Brady. He's the greatest of all time. Winner's mentality. 30, 27. He beats the young upstart, Jared Goff.
All right. I've heard enough of that over the years.
6 national champions. All right. 6 titles, 6 Super Bowls.
That's enough.
Well, your Jets got to get one day.
Saturday.
Well, they're 7-1 in conference play, and they had beaten North Carolina easily down at Chapel Hill. You know North Carolina's going to play the chip on their shoulder this afternoon. That's going to be a tough game, I really believe, for Louisville.
Let's go down to Allison.
I'm here with Sharonda Anderson, who's Zion Williamson's mom. And Sharonda, we've seen Zion's athletic ability on full display, both ends of the court. I want to know, though, at a young age, when did you notice that maybe he was a little special and gifted athletically?
Well, we talk about basketball, but I wish you guys were there when he was 5 and he started playing soccer. And it's like he scored 7 or 8 goals, and they'd have to take him out because he was so going through everybody and just like, are you really 5 or are you really 10? So that's when I knew if he worked hard, he can do something special, and he gravitated towards basketball.
As he started to gravitate towards basketball and his skill began developing there and his stardom started to rise, what sort of advice have you given him about dealing with all the attention he gets?
Well, I really didn't have to give him any advice. He's always been grounded. He's always been the guy next door. He just knew, and we always told him, you work hard at your craft and you work on your fundamentals, they'll find you. The attention will find you. And he stuck to that, so he's been good about this. So we didn't have to give any advice about stay grounded and, don't let it get to your head, because he's been great about it.
One thing we all love about watching him play, he has this joy, this enthusiasm that he plays with. Where do you think that comes from, that love for the game?
I think it's his will to win. He wants to win at all costs. So it doesn't matter if you're scoring the points or if your teammate's scoring the points. You just do what you have to do to win the game. To getting rebounds, playing defense, that's been his mentality. And yeah, he may be scoring points, but his will to win, his desire to win. And he doesn't like losing, so he worked really hard to win. Yeah.
You're an athlete as well. You ran track in college. How much credit do you take for his athletic ability?
I don't know. I don't know. I know. Well, I played basketball in high school and track, and I went to college at track. So I was real athletic, and I was a competitor also. So and his will to win, and he doesn't like to lose. So I think it's just an inner desire for him to just to work hard to win the game.
Well, he's been so fun to watch. But tell us something a little bit about Zion Williamson Williamson, we don't know that only Mama knows, but maybe we should know about your son.
He's a mama's boy. Okay. Yeah, he's a mama's boy, and when we get time alone, he'll come over and we'll watch the cartoon called Naruto. I don't know what that is, but we'll sit around and we'll watch that. So, yeah, you don't know that about him. Yeah.
Still a kid at heart watching cartoons.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Sharonda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bob.
Well, you can see why the kid has the attitude he has. The mom really sets the table as a role model. We talk about players having role models. It starts from the time a child's in the crib. It starts with mom and dad really making things happen in a positive way. You can feel the love right there, that she's more than just intrigued about his great basketball ability.
And I'm sure that's exactly the news that he wants out there, that he's a mama's boy. He can thank his mom for making that announcement on national television as we check our Wendy's Wooden Watch as mom watches Zion put on another show. He and Shamari Pons on that Wendy's Wooden Watch mid-season top 25 list. And Pons, all 11 of his points in the second half, but he was largely erased in the first half by the defensive pressure of Trey Jones and the Mike Krzyzewski double teams as Simon tries a three. That's in and out. A lid on the basket for St. John's. It's been that kind of day for the Red Storm.
Well, it's been a tough day. You know, we had some great games coming up. You think about the Louisville, North Carolina game. That's going to be special. I think, again, chip on his shoulder. Carolina's going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. They were embarrassed. They were humiliated by Louisville at home. And I think Indiana's got to have a chip on their shoulder because they're losing 7 in a row. That team beat Louisville earlier in the year. That team beat Marquette. How can that team be losing 7 games in a row? Well, they got a chance to wipe some of them out by playing the Michigan State team. Time is those kids, really, they had that one loss they had there. They played 4 to 5 games on the road. But I'm telling you, Michigan State suffered a big loss losing the kids, certainly Langford.
Well, coming up next on ESPN, a full day of college basketball rolls on. We will have North Carolina and Louisville as soon as we're done here at Cameron. Then Kentucky squares off with Florida. The game Dick was just mentioning, Indiana and Michigan State. And we cap it off at 8 Eastern tonight with top-ranked Tennessee looking to stay on a roll in the SEC as they take on Texas A&M. You can watch all the college basketball all day live on the ESPN.
You know, St. John's, I mentioned Mullen and Wennington and Mark Jackson, who I love as a great distributor, understood our play. Don't forget another star they have, Walter Berry. Walter Berry and Mullen. Walter Berry is in my book, by the way, my Mount Rushmore book. Is one of the 4 best transfer players in my 40 years. When he came to St. John's out of the junior college ranks, I believe it was San Jacinto in Texas. He was special, man. Berry was a glass eater, a scorer. That was a day at New York City in the palm of their hand.
Well, I tell my kids, I mean, they can't wrap their head around the idea that college basketball was bigger than pro basketball at any point in New York City. But when we were growing up, there's no question. The main event basketball was when Georgetown and St. John's and the Big East tournament was happening at Madison Square Garden. And you can catch SportsCenter later on tonight after Top Rank Boxing. John Anderson and Kenny Mayne will have all the highlights of Lakers-Warriors. Post-game reactions with LeBron, KD, and Steph. Plus, on the eve of the Super Bowl, the Patriots' keys to stopping Jared Goff and the top moments from the octagon and the ring. All of that tonight on SportsCenter on ESPN and the ESPN app.
I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but I will guarantee you will see Zion in some of the highlights on SportsCenter. I'll tell you, man, St. John's to me, that was my first love for basketball. Sitting way up high in the old Madison Square Garden. You don't remember these names. Zawalik, Center, McKilvary, McMahon, the McGuire brothers, Allie and Dick. I mean, Joe Lapchick. Are you kidding me? St. John's was a great, great story to go watch them play. Unbelievable. Then eventually Louis C. Carnesecca, he took them up a notch. Did a great job coming out of St. Anne's High School.
Jordan Goldwire gets into the act with a block, and now Antonio Vrankovic, Stoico's son, who had a 5-year NBA career, was able to meet Mustafa Heron in the lane, but a foul call.
Well, they got a great player coming in here next year, dude. They lose Zion, and they got like the number 1 or 2 big guy coming in, Vernon Carey. A terrific player, broke the heart. A lot of people thought he was going to Michigan State.
You got Mike Krzyzewski with a good recruiting class.
Oh, wow.
Next year, you don't say.
You know what? Mike, by the way, will tell you his disappointment was when Chris Mullen played, he thought he had Mullen. And Mullen decided to go stay home at St. John's. And that his first big break in recruiting that started this program elevating to the level it is when he got Johnny Dawkins. Now, let's face reality, Duke was pretty good before that. In fact, when UB Brown was on a coaching staff, if my memory tells me, Chuck Daly was on it. UB and Chuck were assistants to Bucky Waters. Bucky was a member of the board of directors of the V Foundation, coached here. Think about that staff, having Daly and UB Brown as your assistants.
Down to the last 10 seconds, and O'Connell dribbling the clock down, and Duke blowing out St. John's in the second half, taking a 10-point halftime lead and turning it into a 30-point victory.
They better forget this really quick and mentally start thinking about that big game with Marquette, because that's big. If they can win 2 out of 3 of this road trip in this week, that would be major for St. John's in getting an NCAA berth.
Another dominant performance for Zion Williamson. 6th consecutive game with over 20 points scored, and Duke wins at 91-61. So Duke looking as good and as dominant as any team in America, and Zion Williamson looking as dominant as any single player in America. 29 points, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, a couple of blocks. Trey Jones also shutting down Shamorie Ponds. Those two standing by with Allison.
Very much, Bob, and I'll start right there with Trey. Bob just talked about how you were able to really shut down Shamorie Ponds, one of the top point guards in the Big East. How much of a challenge did you see that, and how were you able to step up today?
All right, we knew it was a big challenge coming in today with Shamorie coming in, but coaches put together a great game plan, and my teammates was able to help me a lot out there.
How much does this guy set the tone for you guys on offense and on defense?
I mean, from the jump, he had full court ball pressure, and he orchestrated our offense. Like, we can't compliment Trey enough. Like, he does it for all 40 minutes, and I mean, Trey's different.
You're different too, and we give you a lot of praise, show the highlights of what you do elevated, but you do some work on the ground too, getting after loose balls, always hustling. What's your mentality when it comes to playing and competing both ends of the court?
I just want to do whatever I can to win. If it's diving on a loose ball, I'm going to dive on a loose ball.
Now, Trey, you put up a nice pass for him on that alley-oop that he slammed down. When you're throwing it up to Zion, do you have to elevate it a little bit more because he can elevate a little bit more?
Of course. You can elevate a little more, but also you can throw it back behind a little bit more, so it's more of a flashy dunk.
How much fun are you guys having?
We're having a lot of fun. Like, we're winning and trying to make the best run we can make.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. Congratulations. Bob, up to you.
Well, Allison, that was the #1 message that Mike Krzyzewski wanted to deliver to his team. With Trey Jones coming off the shoulder injury,